Alrighty, Night Terrors. This is one of the strangest episodes because of just how quasi supernatural everything is. And it's an episode where there's a whole lot of things where it'll have a jump scare, sight gag, or something that's all in someone's mind because people are starting to hallucinate due to the alien of the week being alien. Really, really alien. Because this is the alien ship. And this is maybe the alien, maybe not. We don't really know what the heck this is. This might just be a figment of Troy's imagination. We don't really ever find out if this was actually one of the aliens because nothing in this episode is shown from the point of the aliens. Just to make them even more mysterious, everything is shown from the perspective of the Enterprise crew as they try to figure out what the heck is going on. Now, the USS Enterprise comes out to figure out what happened to the USS Britannia. The Britannia has been overdue for 29 days and so on and so forth. Wait, really? 29 days? Uh, okay. They come across a ship adrift in an unexplored binary solar system. Um, Beaming on board, an away team consisting of Riker, Data, blah blah blah. They find the crew dead except for one Betazoid, Andros Hagen, who is found in an room adjacent to the bridge. And that is your plot seed for the episode. Yeah, and now they take it. I actually do spend quite a lot of time in the episode as aired, looking around the ship, trying to figure out what the heck is going on, because of the fact that, well, they have a lot of time spent in the episode trying to figure out what happened to the crew of the Britain because they don't know that there's an alien ship out there yet. They don't know why anything is happening. And one of the strangest aspects of this episode is when you realize that it was the aliens attempting to ask for help that caused the crew of the Britain to kill each other. That's a very, very strange plot point. And what I was saying about the whole aliens that are really, really alien, because Star Trek does this thing of having different forms of telepathy work fundamentally differently because of the fact that you, as a humanoid, are i- accustomed to certain methods of visualizing information. A non humanoid race attempting to communicate with you might do that fundamentally differently. Like in the case with the Karn and Betazoids, is that Betazoids tend to be very emotionally um, receptive when it comes to processing information. Karn tend to just give you a book. Like, here's a book, read it. They don't just give you their feelings about the book, they give you an entire picture of the book, page by page, all of the pages. Apparently, I think Vulcans are actually very good at the whole like information reception part of it. I actually genuinely have to wonder how a Vulcan would have been affected by this because they don't actually go into that in the episode. I don't remember them having any um uh mention of Vulcans in the episode, just the way it affects Betazoids. I have one guy who's a full Betazoid, Diana who's a half Betazoid, and no one else who's actually has any telepathic abilities whatsoever. Which is why Diana has to be the one to figure out how to communicate with the aliens. Because, like, as of the third act's end, Crusher has come to the conclusion that people being unable to sleep properly is why people are going, nuts. Well, Crusher is the one to have the scene where the bodies in the morgue are like, "Hi, nice to see you," and it's Crusher's imagination that causes the scene there. And quite frankly, seeing this, that was like a massive jump scare for me. It's like, "Oh, the scene is creepy." Boing. Wait, that's not supposed to happen. Oh, yeah, but it's just Crusher hallucinating because Crusher is having the whole like, see, because like, oh yeah, also it's like Diana is having nightmares. She has to do that whole like directed dreaming thing where she goes to sleep because her conscious mind is unable to properly interpret the information the aliens are trying to send. However, her unconscious mind doesn't do a whole lot better. She sees weird images she doesn't understand because it's her unconscious mind trying to react emotionally to things that may or may not be meant to be reacted to emotionally. And we don't really have a whole lot of information about the aliens. And that means that Diana isn't certain how to interpret anything. The uncertainty factor makes her attempts at communication really, really hard. And the crew of the Enterprise is getting to a point where they're being heavily negatively affected by this. And they think that if they don't get out soon, they would probably start to succumb to the same fate as the Britannia. Well, like Worf, and stuff. Yeah, Worf didn't feel good. Anyway, so my personal hypothesis with this episode is that these aliens that we see in the episode who are attempting to ask for assistance in escaping the Tychon's rift. Hmm. I don't think they're humanoids because of the manner in which they are communicating. That doesn't really feel right for a humanoid race because it's just like almost completely uninterpretable by humanoids. Hmm. Oh, also there's the whole thing of like it's a rupture in space, but is it a rupture that connects to somewhere? Hmm. That is actually an interesting plot point. It's like, did the alien ship because like the graphic they use of the Tychon's rift looks suspiciously similar to a wormhole. So is the ship that they're communicating with on the other side? What even is the other side? Yeah, that's a fun question. Let's see here. This graphic doesn't have enough. I am actually wondering if this is supposed to be like the subspace barrier. Like, is this even the same level of three-dimensional space? Did the Enterprise release a life form or ship of life forms from outside three-dimensional space into the Milky Way galaxy? That's an interesting idea, and one I hadn't thought of a few minutes ago. Because that is actually one of the vague recollections I have from watching this as a kid is that the way the Tychon's Rift is described, the reason why the Enterprise can't see the aliens and their ship when they approach the Britain is because of the fact that they're on the other side of the rift. The rift is connecting to somewhere. It doesn't really explain anything in the episode because of the fact that, um, as put by the someone on the crew of the Enterprise, Tychon's rifts are a poorly understood phenomenon. So they don't really have the ability to figure out exactly what it is. It's some sort of anomaly that tends to drain energy from ships. Well, They create an explosion, the rift collapses, and this thing flies out of it. When they were able to see the Britane, they weren't able to see this thing until the rift exploded. Are these aliens even actually, you know what? That is an interesting thing that you could have as a reason for why the telepathic communication attempts failing so much is that the telepathic messages are being distorted by the rift. The telepathic information is being beamed through the rift and in the process getting garbled. That would actually work as an explanation of why the telepathic communication is going so badly. Which I'm not sure how that would affect the previous analysis about whether or not this is actually a humanoid race. But having the telepathic transmissions become less garbled could actually explain why you see the figure suddenly appear, because that is the moment after the rift collapses and the alien ship is free. And if the rift is impeding the aliens' ability to telepathically communicate, then that would explain why this suddenly pops up at the end. Well. Yeah. Again, this is kind of sort of what I would expect someone's subconscious mind to be seeing when you have the equivalent of a telepathic transmission that's mostly garbled static. Anyway, though, oh yeah, pure betazoids. It's too much static for a pure betazoid to be able to even think straight. This guy is catatonic because of the fact that he just can't do anything. And it wasn't until the aliens' telepathic distress call was stopped that he was able to go back to um, normal-ish. This person ended up dead because of her crew, not necessarily mutinying, but just kind of, sort of, going insane. She thought her first officer had stranded the ship here as part of a mutiny, but that's apparently not what happened. Well, we don't actually know what her first officer was doing. Because like we see the chaos of the last moments on of the living crew from her perspective, where she's recording a log entry uh, uh, about what had happened to her ship and what she thinks is going on, but we don't see log entries from other characters, just from her. And the log entry gets cut off when someone stabs her. And the computer just automatically ends the log when she stops speaking, and that's that. The episode overall is very, very weird because we don't really know who the aliens are. And as I just pointed out, we don't know if they're even come from three-dimensional space. That's where this episode gets really strange. We don't know if they come from three-dimensional space. We don't know anything at all about it, honestly. And the nature of their ship and their method of communication is utterly alien to everyone in the episode. And exploring where they came from, you could have a lot of fun with that in a TTRPG. There is a lot of fun you could have with that in a TTRPG. What do we know about the star system, binary system inside of Tychon's Rift? Oh yeah, that's right. Um, one of the alternate explanations of the Tychon's Rift is that the Tychon's Rift is going through the center of the binary system. We're like, this might actually just be the other side of the binary system, and just like too far away for them to be able to have visual contact of what's over there. I'm not sure. I'm really not sure if it's going to the other side of the binary system or to a different uh, spatial plane. And quite frankly, if you're using this in a TTRPG, have fun choosing whichever of those fits what you want to do. Okay, this is just dumb because Tychon's Rift isn't actually a physical location. Anyway, though, I mean, unless they're talking about the original one that Bella Tychon named, but yeah, whatever. That doesn't exist anymore, as far as I know, because Bella Tychon collapsed the first one. It got named after him because he was one of the first people to figure out how to stop one of them. Well, whatever. Anyways, though, I have to say though, this scene was incredibly creepy. You could leave that out of an episode if you want. It's like the episode here is the first episode we ever see in the next generation of the morgue in the Enterprise D. That's what this room here is. It's like the morgue where they're like, oh well, here we have to put the dead people that they got from the other ship, because they actually spent the time to recover the crew of the Britain. These are the crew of the Britain. They're trying to figure out what happened to the crew of the Britain, so they take all of them on board the Enterprise D for medical analysis and put them into the morgue on the Enterprise D. Anyway, though, yeah. The end here, though, is that there's actually several different possible solutions that could have been done, and they just the whole reason for needing to have the message now is dumping the hydrogen gas into the Tychon's rift. There's a time window where there's a high enough hydrogen density to set it off the explosion, and if you wait too long after releasing the hydrogen gas, um, you'll run out of hydrogen gas, and then you won't have enough to set off an explosion. So you dump the hydrogen gas, send the message now, and then it explodes, and the rift is collapsed. Again, though, the big mystery of this episode: what the heck are the aliens? That's what I would really find most interesting to explore with this. Because, like the negative space wedgie thing, there's a lot of different kinds of negative space wedgie plots you can do, but there's not a whole lot else. Yeah, the whole like ghost stories thing. It's like yeah, it's your hallucinating. Mhm. Yep. Anyway, though, alrighty then. I'm gonna call it here. See you guys later.